Over the last 2 Christmas seasons, we've gotten to explore some of Europe's best Christmas markets, and today we are excited to share you our top 5 best European Christmas markets.
Europe really knows how to do Christmas, and especially here in Germany, they do Christmas really big. And something that you can find all across Europe are Christmas markets. We love them and think they're just so fun. They are a gathering of people coming together to celebrate Christmas and to mark this wonderful season. Traditionally, Christmas markets start the first Sunday of Advent and go through the fourth Sunday of Advent. But sometimes you can find them that start at the end of November and go through the new year.
Normally at Christmas markets, you're going to find booths selling incredible different foods, different toys or different crafts that people have made, different goods, and also all kinds of amazing music and just a really cool atmosphere. One really cool thing about different Christmas markets in different cities and also different countries is that you can really see their different personalities and traditions on display at the Christmas markets.
A staple at German Christmas markets is Glühwein. Glühwein is a hot mulled wine that has all kinds of wonderful Christmassy spices in it, kind of like hot apple cider.
Ugh, what is this stuff, lava?
That is Glühwein, otherwise known as glow wine, also used to sterilize medical instruments.
A lot of countries have a very similar drink, and Glühwein has just become synonymous with Christmassy smells to me now. Whenever you buy your Glühwein, it generally costs around €3, but you also have to pay a deposit. The deposit is usually around €2 to €5, and you have to pay this deposit because Glühwein usually comes in a mug, and a lot of times the mug is decorated really Christmassy, and if you're in a big city, it usually has the name of the city on it, and it has something pictured that's unique to this city. And so whenever you're done with your Glühwein, you can either take your mug back and get your deposit back, or you can keep your mug as a souvenir. And that's what I've been doing this year, is I've been keeping all my Glühwein mugs and trying to start a little Christmas mug collection.
Without further ado, we're going to jump right into our top 5 Christmas market lists in Europe, starting with our number 5 choice of Heidelberg, Germany. Heidelberg, Germany is a city in the southwest portion of Germany, and it is a spectacular city even outside of Christmas time because they have an amazing castle and castle ruin that sits on top of a huge hill overlooking the city of Heidelberg, also the Neckar River. We started our trip in Heidelberg during the Christmas season at the castle, where you can take in spectacular views of the valley down below and the mountains all around, the river, the city, and you can see all of the hustle and bustle of the shoppers going all around the Christmas markets and the different town squares.
The market just seemed to stretch all across the city, and the city itself has all kinds of half-timbered buildings and just feels like a quaint old German town. And so that was just beautiful, especially matched with the Christmas season. It was just incredible.
After walking around the castle grounds and checking out the castle for a little bit, we made our way down into Heidelberg Old Town. What makes this place incredible is when you get onto the main street, just everything is decked out in Christmas decor, and you just walk from one square to the next square to the next square, and each has its own little Christmas market inside with all of the amazing little huts that are decorated with greenery. The smell of Glühwein and bratwurst is in the air. There are rides for children. There's Christmas music playing all over. There's a really neat ice rink for people to go ice skating on. But what really caps off this city is the spectacular view of the castle up on top of the hill looming over the city below.
Number 4 on our list of Christmas markets is in one of Germany's largest cities, Cologne. Cologne is already one of our favorite places to visit just because the Cologne Cathedral is the most incredible cathedral that we have ever seen. It is right outside of the train station and you walk out and it's just massive and beautiful. So put a Christmas market right under that and it is just so amazing. Right in the middle of the Cologne Christmas market is this huge Christmas tree that has lights just strung all across it and over the market like a canopy. There's a stage and all kinds of musicians come and play, and all of the huts are very cohesive with red roofs, and it is just beautiful, that market right under the cathedral.
As we walked around Cologne and we were exploring it, we were able to come across multiple Christmas markets, and there's a lot throughout the city, but the ones that we were able to get to relatively quickly and easily was, of course, the Cologne Cathedral Christmas Market, and then was the Old Town Christmas Market, and this one was really cool. It was unique because all the buildings look like wooden, kind of old-timey, I don't know.
Like old buildings, just felt like old German lodge buildings or something.
And then also they had a huge ice rink that like extended the full length of it. There were bridges that went over it so pedestrians could get around it because it was so big it was hard to fully walk around to get to the other side of the ice rink. And then whenever we walked across town, down like one of the main shopping streets, we came to the Angels Christmas Market. And this one was beautiful. It kind of reminded me of something like Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper would design because it was like a bunch of white painted shiplap, and they had lots of stars in the trees that were all lit up in white and beautiful.
One of the downsides of the Cologne Christmas Market though is that because it is so beautiful and wonderful, everybody wants to come see it. So it is very, very crowded on the weekends. So if you can go on a weekday, that would definitely be recommended.
Coming in at number 3 on our list is one that might be slightly controversial because it is world famous and number 1 on a lot of people's European Christmas market list, and this is going to be Nuremberg, Germany. Now this city is incredible to visit anytime outside of the Christmas season as well. It's pretty much everything that you would want whenever you go to visit Germany in this one city, because the old town is spectacular with its cobblestone streets and its half timber frame buildings, and they also have a huge castle that is very well maintained right in the middle of the city center. But during Christmas time, it really is transformed. In the very center of the city, you have the Christkindlmarkt, which is the main Christmas market, and is known as the Christkindlmarkt rather than the Weihnachtsmarkt, because one of the main pillars to this Christmas market is the Christkind.
The Christkind is a woman from Nuremberg who is chosen every 2 years to be the Christkind at the markets. She wears a long gold and white dress. She has long, curly, blonde hair and wears a crown. You also can find lots of different items representing the Christkind for sale at this market, like lots of beautiful ornaments and tree toppers.
And also, they are really world-renowned for their wooden toys and wooden crafts. And so as you walk through this Christmas market, you find all of these wooden toys all over the place, which makes you feel like you've been transported back in time because you're not seeing all these plastic and electronic toys that you normally see in a lot of places, and instead you see all of these very, very classic toys. This Christmas market is also really neat because they hold on to a lot of really old traditions. Like the Christkind will come and they will greet the children throughout the Christmas market at different times, and they will also then read the Christmas story aloud on stage. And if you can go during this period, it is really neat to see. They also are pretty famous for an old tradition of date mint, in which they will make little people out of dates, and they will sell these all over the Christmas market. There also is a statue right in the middle of this Christmas market, and it has a little gate around it with rings, and people go and they try to spin the rings on the gate because it's supposed to give you good luck if you do that. At the back of the market, there's also the Frauenkirche. Each day when the clock strikes noon, everybody stops and they look up at the top of the clock tower and they watch the little figurines do a little show, and it's really neat to see that as well. Along with these old traditions, Nuremberg is also world famous for a couple of different food types at these Christmas markets. One thing is they are one of the largest exporters of Lebkuchen, which is gingerbread, and it is sold all over the world from Nuremberg. And then they also have a very special sausage type of sandwich called the Nuremberger, which is also delicious to get and really fun to enjoy with your Glühwein. Besides this main Christmas market, of course, you walk all over the old town and there are tons of Christmas decorations everywhere, but they also have a secondary Christmas market that is really big itself, and it is geared for children. So you go to this Kinder Christmas market and the children can go in there. There's all kinds of arts and crafts. There are all kinds of rides they can ride and food for them and little puppet shows. And it's also just a really neat place for families to go and enjoy it together.
Number 2 on our Christmas market list is the first one that is not in Germany, and this is Strasbourg. Strasbourg is a beautiful city that is in the very far east of France. Strasbourg has gone back and forth over the centuries, being considered part of France and part of Germany. So because of this, it has such an amazing mix of these two countries' architecture and food and many other things. This city is also situated on almost what would be considered a little island, because to reach the center of the old town, you have to cross these little bridges to get into it. So this old town is just absolutely beautiful with half-timbered buildings, lots of cobblestone streets, and kind of some narrow streets that you have to wind through. At the center of the old town is this beautiful cathedral there, Notre Dame. It is just a tall and gorgeous old cathedral. The Christmas market in Strasbourg surrounds this cathedral, and you can just find pockets of little markets all throughout these winding streets. This city has so many Christmas decorations just all throughout the city, lots of lights and toys and decorations just lining the streets.
There are a lot of buildings that were decorated to the nines. We're talking presents and teddy bears and anything that you could think of would possibly be related to Christmas, or even not even really closely related to Christmas, was thrown over some of these buildings just to deck them out. Another big staple at most Christmas markets throughout Europe are crepes. You can smell them from a mile away, just the sweet batter that they're spreading out, and a lot of times you're going to have Nutella on those. However, when you're in France and you're in Strasbourg, it is particularly fun to get a crepe in the country where they originated from and enjoy that on a crisp, Christmassy night.
Along with a crepe, you should also get a vin chaud, which is the hot wine of France.
And finally, we come to the end of our top 5 list with our absolute favorite Christmas market that we've ever been to. Is the one that we continue to come back to time and time again in our memories, and also when we tell stories of Christmas markets that we've gone to. This is usually the first one that comes to our mind because we were so blown away with this Christmas markets, its traditions, its atmosphere, and just the historical sites that you can go see. And that is Salzburg.
Dang it, Donnie. You built it up so well.
And it is Salzburg, Austria. And I'm starting to sound like a broken record whenever I say this, but it is so true that Salzburg is spectacular to visit even outside of the Christmas time. This was the set of a lot of The Sound of Music. It's the home of Mozart, and so there's a lot of really cool museums and things to check out. However, during the Christmas period, it really gets transformed into a beautiful Christmas and winter wonderland, especially if you hit it whenever it's snowing, which we did basically every day when we were there at the beginning of December last year. Right in the center of Salzburg are 2 adjacent Christmas markets right in front of their big cathedral. And inside these Christmas markets, you will find a huge ice skating rink, a Christmas museum, which is really neat to check out with all kinds of sites that show the history of Christmas, especially in Austria and Salzburg, and then also just tons of food. They will have a presentation of the Christkind on the steps of the cathedral, as well as different choirs will sing, little children's choirs will sing Christmas carols in front of the cathedral. It's just a lot to take in and a lot of really beautiful things to see. It really is magical. But what we really also love about Salzburg is they have extremely unique traditions here, one of which is Krampus. Krampus is this scary demon that comes in the night and steals away all the bad kids, rather than like our Santa Claus who just brings coal to the bad children, which is just kind of like a slap on the wrist. They're getting away pretty easily, because if they lived in Salzburg, Austria, Krampus would come, throw them in a basket, and either throw them into a river or drag them down to the depths of hell with him, which really just rounds off the Christmas spirit inside this amazing city. And there's a couple times in which you can see Krampus really on display. And this is on December 5th where they have Krampus runs, where lots of people will dress up as this like demon, goat, Satan, devil man with these like really ornate wooden carved masks and these big fur suits, and they'll run through the streets with bundles of sticks hitting people. Or you can also go to Hellbrunn Schloss, which is right outside of the main city. And this is a spectacular palace, which is all painted yellow, and they have their own really, really cool Christmas market. But a whole like section of it is devoted just to Krampus, where they'll have different displays of masks, the masks being made and the carving process, but also lots of really fun figurines throwing children into the river and also torturing little kids.
One cool, interesting, Christmassy fun fact about Salzburg is this city is the birthplace of the song Silent Night, which in German it says
Stille Nacht.
There you go. It's really hard to pick a top 5 because there are so many beautiful markets all across Europe. It's also hard to compare these big city markets to some of the small village markets. We've really enjoyed these small markets that are in our local area, like the one we went to here in Ramstein and also in Kaiserslautern, because these feel a lot more local, where people all know each other and are coming to just gather after work on a weeknight. There also are a lot of really unique markets. A lot of markets have features that other ones might not have, such as this one in Kusel that's pretty close to us that is inside of a castle. And this one is Renaissance and medieval themed. And there are still so many markets across Europe that we would love to explore. So if you have any recommendations, please let us know in the comments and we would love to visit them.
Thanks so much for watching our top 5 favorite Christmas markets in Europe. We hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and also subscribe, because we would love to have you traveling a lot more with us.
Merry Christmas!
And frohe Weihnachten. Action.
Oh gosh, it's kidding me.
Donnie, you fool. Get this done. No. This music is playing. There are rides for kids. There's a really beautiful... Are you serious right now?
I'm sorry.
Without any more further ado... Is that how you can say that too?
Without further ado.
Without any more further ado. You've had enough ado. No more. Without any further ado.
No, without further ado. No more. Without further ado.
Okay.
Nailed it.
You nailed it.
Boom.
Okay, good job, Queenie.